while he was laying there and he's going, Maris, and he's getting zipped up. After he knocks off the cup, he loses all his senses, and he actually got a foresight of what's going to happen is that he disappeared completely. She's going to think he's dead. They're going to put him in a body bag, cut him up. He literally got the vision of it. That's why when he knocked that at the end, when he knocked it,
I'm sorry, something's flashing. Whoa, let's go. Yo, bro, I have a metallic Funko Pop. It's a set. All four guys on stage, right? It's right in the front, and it's in a package. I saw on the package a flashing light like this, doing this, but there's nothing flashing back here for a reflection. Now it's gone, bro. And as Joe's talking about that, yo, fuck this movie. Let's wrap this up. Come on.
What's the boogie myth?
As a matter of fact, that was.
No more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
We all cheer for big bottles of beer. I'm your boy, Ricky Grimes, and you're watching the Three Corners of Horror, Horror Fiend TV. I'm gonna introduce to you first El Jefe, the boss, the myth, the man, the legend, JR. What up, son?
This is going to be an interesting film. You know, the first thing I thought about when I watched this film is that Peter Parker was in a horror movie. This is exactly how it would go. Instead of gaining powers, he's losing powers. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. You know, yeah, let's see if we lost our senses watching this one.
You know who I thought of? Deez. Deez. What up, Joe the psychologist? My other brother from another mother. My beer brother. Yes, a lot of bees in that one. So what up, son?
what's up? Yeah, same. Looking forward for this one. Actually, it's another one where I did not pick up my phone once while watching it. Even though I do speak Spanish fluent and I can understand it, you still end up reading no matter how hard you try not to do that. So I knew I had to focus. But yeah, I mean, it's another international. I think it's Mexico, right?
Mexico.
It's been a bit since we've done an international one, and you know, we all love our internationals. And tonight we're going to be talking about Disappeared Completely, Desaparecer por Completo, 2022. It is directed by Luis Javier Enaise, written by Ricardo Aguado Fentanes and Luis Javier Genaine, starring Harold Torres as Santiago Mendoza and Tete Espinosa as Marcela Luna.
Let's get the party started. Like I said, I'm gonna take a sip of beer because you're watching Three Corners. I gotta savor that. That IPA, son. Let's do it. I'm a JR. I'm gonna start with you, man. So we're going up back a few years. 2022. Sometimes, you know, we like to highlight and showcase films that horror fiends may not be aware of. I wasn't until JR brought it to my attention. And, you know, we like to switch it up. You know, we like to be a little different. And like I said, give other films a chance as well to shine. So let's get it started. JR, I'm gonna throw it to you first. My man over here, Santiago. Holy shit, this guy went through the ringer in this film, huh? Talk to me, bro. Talk to us about his journey, right? This curse that was laid upon him. But give us a quick little brief synopsis into the film and what we were to expect. So hit us up, brother.
Well, you have Santiago, who, let's say he goes to great lengths to get whatever photo he needs. Usually it's in a grisly scene where it's a crime scene or accident. But his whole career is based on getting these photos, which I referenced with Peter Parker. You know, kind of Spider-Man, because that's what he did. Got the photos, got paid to do the photos. But what happens is one night he arrives late to a specific crime scene. So being the Peter Parker that he is, he decides that I'm going to break into the house anyways and find out what's going on. So he stumbles upon the body. And what this guy actually does is pretty good. He pays off all these cops to give him a call whenever there's a crime scene so he could get first dibs on pictures. But yeah, I mean, he stumbles upon the body. Then later on, as the movie continues, he starts getting this curse. Now, the thing about the curse that's interesting is that it takes a span of a couple days. So the first thing that goes which I like how they did, was his sense of smell. Now I'll let you guys talk about when you guys want to talk about the crime scene where he lost that. So the smell goes first, then slowly comes the taste, then the touch and feel, then eventually your hearing, and last to go is your vision. But I think what made this film interesting in the aspect of we've seen films where people have lost their senses, but this one did it slowly. So you went through the process and you felt for him when he was losing these senses. Now, the one sense I think you felt the most when he was losing, and I commend how they did it when he was losing his hearing and how it kept progressing and it was muffled sounds when he was going through his day trying to find out exactly how he could find the means to end this curse. But yeah, I mean, I think it was 5 days total. That yeah,
Oh,
because
week. Yeah.
Monday,
Oh, yeah. Monday
yeah,
to
Yeah,
Friday.
it was Monday,
five
and
days,
then
five senses.
yeah, and then like Friday into Saturday because of that meeting with the talk about the other guy later. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I think this was what captivated me of bringing it to you guys was like we haven't really done a film like this, and it was interesting. And I'll be honest, when I started watching it, I was waiting for the horror element to really start kicking in. But when it did, like, all right, okay, I feel this. But yeah, and I like the fact that the real horror element of this film was the fact that you're losing your senses and not knowing how.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah, it was a span of 5 days. Each day he lost a different sense, and I love how you brought up the fact about his hearing. Brilliant, fucking brilliant. The way that whole once he lost his hearing, the whole movie muffled. So you were put in Santiago's shoes and what it's like. Brilliant, brilliant decision to do that. A little risky because some people might be like, "What happened to the sound?" But no, it's that draws you in. Joe, the psychologist. I know you have a lot to say on this one. Your turn, brother.
All right, so like you said, the curse. So it takes 5 days. But by the way, the movie did come out in 2022, but it was released in Netflix in 2024, which is what makes it a 2024 release. So we're actually not late on it. It sounds like it was kind of sitting in the shelf.
Thank
Netflix
you
must
for
have
that. Yeah,
bought
you're
it.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's why it dropped on because it all of us it appeared. I want to say either Collider or Bloody Disgusting, where people were talking, like they talked about this movie that's on Netflix right now, and then Jr. brought it up after, and I was like, I just read this. Like this sounded like something that was going to be interesting. So yeah, a movie where an individual is cursed and you start losing your senses. Because when he went into the place of the senator's house to take those pictures, and I will also say the movie reminded me of Nightcrawler. I don't know if you guys ever saw that one with Jake Gyllenhaal, where he plays the photographer and he goes around and takes these pictures, and he actually would move people. Like it's based on a true story. For me, it was when he realized he lost his sense of touch, and when the basically he was realizing, holy shit, the shit is hitting the fan with me right now. And then I gotta tell what he called her, because I know it's Marcella, but he called her like
Marcy,
Marcy.
Marcy.
Merce. When he touched her, and like the thought in his head that he can no longer feel her touch right now. And same when he's touching her, he feels nothing. And then you see, they start having sex, but he had to go into his memory because what that was actually telling me, because he's not aroused by touch, he has to now go into this memory. And she's like, you disappeared, and she didn't realize he actually was disappearing into all these memories, all this stuff about her, you know, in order for him to wake up his buddy because he can't feel anything. I just thought, I know like Rick's laughing, but it in that scene, like if you don't notice, that's what was going on, is that he what the woman he loves, he can't feel this anymore. And this is why this curse is pretty fucking badass, because it's maddening. It's what's happened to the senator. It was weird, and you understood now why the senator didn't feel the rats eating him, once he, and he felt it a little bit more differently. But yeah, no, the having you one by one lose all your senses, the five things you rely on, and basically, as the name of the title says, the curse itself is for you to disappear completely. I haven't seen anything involving our five senses like this, so I thought it was something fresh. It was something new, and yeah, definitely like the toll that it takes on the individual.
I think losing your touch, right? That must be the worst because what does that feel like? Like when he's in his car, feeling the steering wheel and his clutch and whatnot, and he can't feel anything. It's like are you does it when you wake up and during the night and your arm is asleep and it's completely numb? Is that what it's
Probably
like?
what it must feel like. Yeah.
Like you can't feel anything. What does it? I don't want to know, but what does it feel like to not feel anything? And I don't mean like feelings. I mean like physically.
Now,
Like what? You know what I
was
mean?
anybody touching them? That in a bad way. Okay, but while that was going on, was anybody themselves like rubbing their hands on their leg?
I know what
Because
you mean. I know
this
what
is
you mean.
what
No,
he was
yeah,
touching. Like he was touching things, and as he's doing that, I realized I was doing it and going, I can feel this, but he can't.
yeah.
I thought that was
Next
cool.
time you wake up and you're like your hands asleep, for example, try and touch something.
Oh, I bet.
That's what it must feel like. It feels like just it's the weirdest fucking feeling, and just knowing and then they told him even if you are like absolved from this curse, whatever you lost, you never get it back.
Yeah, that's
So
the part that killed me because he
yeah,
lost touch.
at that
So
point he only had two senses remaining at that point. So I
Hold on, hold
think
on, hold on. The fact that he couldn't taste coffee, that would kill me.
I,
Coffee.
I could be okay with not
Oh,
tasting things because then I would just be able to eat everything.
nah, I can't. It's just
Okay.
bland as fuck, bro.
Nah,
Um,
you can enter some food competitions
Nah,
like
Papa. I
those
love my
spicy
spicy. I
things.
love my spicy food. When he's putting all
no.
that hot sauce on the tamales or whatever the fuck that shit was, and he couldn't taste it. No. But this movie, it's not a scary film. It's not a gory film. It's not a violent film. What it is, it's a very interesting film. I was engrossed from beginning to end because, especially if you go into it without reading the synopsis or anything and not knowing what to expect, like JR had mentioned, or Joe, I'm sorry, one of y'all guys did. We we never had a story where you're losing your senses day by day, and we're seeing all the effects. Like the guy always is around dead bodies, essentially taking photographs, and the fact that he couldn't smell that stench, he noticed that. He's a guy's always drinking coffee and drinking alcohol and shit. He couldn't taste anything. The guy steps on glass, doesn't even notice it until he sees a little blood on the floor. Then he looks on his foot, and he's got a fucking glass impaled into it. And then the hearing part, oh my god, when he hit that bug that was in his ear, then you
Uh,
hear the crackling and like holy shit, bro. And of course, the blindness, obviously that's how the film ended. It went to complete
oh,
darkness. We'll get into that a little later, his
okay.
decision on that. That was I like the way they handled that.
Well,
But yeah.
did any of you guys notice? Because I had to stop because I thought something was wrong with my TV. Actually, the blindness was already slowly coming in because
Start
the
blowing.
movie started letterbox and it kept just going like this.
Oh
And for a minute,
really?
yes,
Wait, how
watch
the
it
fuck did I
again.
not notice
And I
that?
had paused the movie. I had done a couple of things and I turned it on and I'm like, why is it not going back to normal? And then in some scenes it did, but then as it kept going, that's why towards the end it was the little box. All along, it's been slowly
Wow,
closing.
I don't know
Yeah.
how
I
I didn't
I
get
was
that.
waiting for one of you guys to say that one. I thought it was gonna be one of you two because you guys are the cinematographers here. I was That's pretty fucking cool because it threw me off. I thought something was wrong with my TV. No, the next, the vision is coming next, and the world, like between the world closing in, losing the senses. But yes, as you're left, that last one, yeah, that was for me
See, but
that his vision was going away.
could even go back to the coffee scene. The fact that what do they show when he's drinking the coffee? You remember how they showed that part?
Which
What is
part?
like
When he
He's
sipping?
drinking the coffee.
when he
No,
couldn't
before he even
taste it?
before he even takes a sip, what they show? They show him lifting up, couldn't smell it. His nose is like right there, and all you see is basically steam come up. So he couldn't even smell it. And the fact that the minute he tasted it, he can't taste nothing. I mean, that was that. those little details were so perfectly done in this film.
Yeah. And so we find out now, Joe. I'm gonna throw it to you because this is the part I kind of had a little bit of trouble with, and I'm not afraid to admit it. You know, sometimes I gotta
we
see
had a rough
things.
week.
Yeah, I got.
We had a rough week this week.
Yeah, we did. So the senator, explain to me before we get into how he tries to overcome this curse. Exactly why was the senator cursed, right? And why was he cursed? I know there was something in a photograph. I looked for 1 second, looked back for whatever reason. I think I had a notification on my phone or whatnot. And I completely missed because there was a scene where he's showing a photograph to like all these people. And I'm
And
like,
there's
come on, show it again, show it again. I missed it. What was it? So I missed the photograph. What was in that photograph? And please tell me it connected him to the senator and why he was cursed. Please tell me.
Well, it was the brujo, basically, is what I'm going to call him, that had cursed the senator. The senator's rival had been basically dabbling with, so and they didn't exactly say the type of
The
witchcraft.
woman, right?
The woman, yes.
Yeah.
You know, santeria, brujeria.
They
I
didn't
mean,
say
there's
no.
so many of them, and that's another part that I love witchcraft movies.
When I watched this and I saw witchcraft was involved, I'm like, oh, Joe's gonna be all over
Oh,
that.
yeah. And then as I'm watching, I'm still going, oh shit, I should really not be watching any of this stuff because, you know, I don't want some kind of fucking spell coming through my TV and getting me. It was the political rival that had cursed him. So when Santiago was at the senator's house and taking the pictures, the brujo knew that he got him in a picture.
He was
So
there. The brujo was there.
he was there.
So
Yep,
he's
he
the
was
one in
there.
the photograph.
That's what was in the image.
And behind a curtain
Okay.
or something.
No,
Where was he?
Dude, it was like deep red. That's why I was wondering how you did not. It was literally
Because,
like
like I
deep
said,
red.
one notification looked down, looked up, and
Yeah, he
I
was in
see
two.
was
He
gone.
was in two photographs in there.
But the picture was actually because he walked up to the mirror. It was a reflection on a mirror
Ah, see, I
when he
missed
took
it.
the picture.
Yeah, I
So-
watched this with someone, and normally when I'm by myself, I rewind shit, but I don't like when I'm with people. I don't like messing with it, so that's why. Fuck. They'll show the picture again. They never fucking did. So
No, well, and they didn't do it in deep red. That's why I'm like sitting here going, I'm like, Rick is
Yeah.
gonna love this because you know this is totally deep red right here. As far
I
as
gotta
the
go back
reflection
then. I
on a
gotta go
mirror.
back. Yeah.
But so because he took the picture, a picture of the brujo is actually who had bugged him, took his camera, knocked him out, and then put the curse on him.
Let's talk about my man with all those cameras. Yo, that dude walked around with all that equipment,
Yeah.
bro.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I would mug that motherfucker too, yo.
Oh yeah.
but that's expensive equipment. But I mean, that's what his profession is.
Dude, how much money
then-
did he need to give to the?
100,000.
And he pawned all his equipment and got all that money. Bro.
Yep. But for the curse, I'm sitting there going, really? God damn it. It's a fucking frog. I mean, I'm like kind of over frogs right now. I need a break on frogs. So if we have, because now I can see that they could use a frog to put a curse on you. So now we have added more to my randinophobia, the fact that they could be done. But so the brujo ended up putting the spell on him because he took the picture. So if had he never taken that picture, had he never showed up, this wouldn't have happened.
If you would have listened to what's Marcy, right? That's
Merce.
Merce. If you listened to her and actually took her out to dinner instead of taking that call and I
Wait,
got
wait.
work to do.
That was one of his realizations as he's realizing shit's getting fucked up is I should have stayed with dinner. I should have gone with dinner with you.
Yeah.
But then one of the cops, actually two of the cops realize that he's been cursed. And they don't even want to fucking help him. That's I
Who
love that.
would? I mean, who
Well, as I'm
would?
saying, that's like almost facts.
You don't
Because
fuck with that shit.
if you
bro.
want to play around with it, you know, like in the movie, do it like, oh no, we're gonna help you. No, this was like, yeah,
No, it's the way the cop
No.
said it. He goes, "Why the hell are you carrying it around for?" He like yelled. He goes, "Take it off the table. We're eating."
Dude walked around with a fucking dead frog and shit, bro. Slap that shit on the table while they're having
Love that
fucking
shit.
lunch.
but that's why they didn't help him because they said this is some dark stuff and
Yeah.
we can't help you. But then he gave him the name of another witch, bruja, whatever you want to call it. Because again, the movie never says what
Right.
type of witchcraft, so I can't say what it is. and Mexicans may refer to it differently than us Puerto Ricans or we call it. But either way, he gives him the information to meet her. And then I'm sitting here when I'm watching it, he's got to get all this stuff. And then they say the sacrifice. And I went, row. This is where I went, oh no. Well, I got frogs. Rick's going to get the dog. So I knew that him sacrificing. And then the worst part, his name was Zombie. I'm sitting here going, oh, this is really going to kill Rick. But the breaking of the curse, unfortunately, I don't know. I want to rewatch because I don't know if he got scammed or if it was actually. Well, I mean, you don't know.
Scammed. He didn't get scammed because breaking the curse cost the life of her right hand.
Well, yes, that person did die, but it was still 100,000 for. I mean, if you're making that much money on breaking that many spells while you living in such a shanty little place. But
man, they're not gonna live in a mansion.
Well, I would.
That's a good question. What the fuck they do with all that money, bro?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're charging that much, but yeah, it's the I actually minus the zombie part, and by zombie I mean the dog guys. If you haven't watched the movie, that whole scene with the spell, because again, it's witchcraft. I was thrown off with the one guy with the maraca that was just kind of all like, it was a little bit more disco for me. The other ones you're a little bit more like, the scary stuff. And then you got to him, the dude's like watching the spell, watching them break the spell. And then not just that, the movie gave you a false sense of what's the word here? Not hope, I guess, because you thought it worked.
I didn't. I knew it wasn't gonna work. I mean, why would it work? Then the movie's over.
Well, I mean, I didn't think, but then, however, I'm going to save a little part at the end because nobody's mentioned it so far, and I like to see if anybody else noticed anything I noticed. But no. But anyway, for me, the breaking of the curse, him having to actually go to the darker magic to do this, and the way that it was shot, I kind of sat here and was just like, I hope that nobody in that world is going to be upset that this director put this on film, because it looked like the genuine type of santeria brujeria that's done to basically break a spell.
See, I think the reason that I felt like it wasn't going to work is the minute he visited her and she told him, this is a very powerful spell, just go home. And that's that. She told him that one time, and she was adamant, basically, just go home. It's like she didn't want to deal because she knew she was out of her league trying to deal with the spell. The fact that they had to go now, if you want to compare it to United States, it looked like they were in the bayou and they had to go deep into the swamps to get to the guy who's basically powerful enough to try to break it.
Bayou Billy.
I'm sorry. Every time he was dancing, I just picture some
what I'm talking
Martin Garrix in the background, EDM concert.
To be fair,
Yes.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I didn't watch those scenes.
Oh, well, yeah. So
I saw the dog in the cage whimpering, and it took forever.
Well, there was a guy that was basically with the thing standing there.
I'm out.
So it was a rotation.
Yeah,
like it was the one, her right hand that was just sitting there, which I thought that dude was cool as shit, because when he went to go visit the bruja, the dude was like, and he was just standing behind her. And then he's like, oh, this curse is, a strong curse. He's behind her going. You got the sense that it didn't really work, because when he's standing there by the water, even the way she said it, yeah, we got it, but she wasn't confident saying. Usually when a spell is broken, from the majority of movies we've watched, they either send you with some kind of like a necklace or some kind of something to take home with you to protect you from any other evil, and they never did that to him. So there was like a lot of stuff that we're usually you watch when it comes to breaking curses that they didn't do to him. Now, the fact that I know Rick turned from the scene, but the whole scene with Zombie, I love the way it took place, because the fact that he was torn so bad that he didn't want to do it, and then when he finally did it, it was heart wrenching to watch him. And then the fact that it didn't work. He goes back. She tells him, he died the day you left. Just go home. Just go home. So then he goes to find this basically the guy called him the devil, who used to be the chauffeur for the political rival. So when he's over there, it's like, and this is one scene I like too. I don't know if you guys like this, when he finally basically has a face to face, the voice of the devil character or
It was pretty good.
Ghoul. I love that. And there was a scene where he's like, please take it away. And then he was like, bring me your seed.
Spawn. He says Spawn.
You spawn, yeah. And then there's almost like a 10-second silence between both of them. And I like how that lingered, because I'm sitting there like, all right, what's going on? But the fact that
thinking about it,
the fact that you feel like, all right, what's he gonna do?
He didn't want the kid to begin with, too.
Right. And this was because when I'm watching this film, I told Prasad, wow, this is a very good character development movie, because he's an asshole at the beginning. You show him little signs when he's with Marcela, and then he becomes an asshole again. And then she calls him out on his shit, because when they were having a conversation about how long you've been pursuing this career, that's never gonna happen. I mean, but the fact that I just think the way it was set up, it was destined to fail, because while I felt like, because even who was it? The cops told him too. They're like, "Do you have any enemies?" He goes, "No, I don't think anybody." Go, "Oh, really? All those dead people So you already got the sense. All right, this dude, because all the shit he's done wrong, he's just destined to suffer. That's why I didn't think it was going to be cured at all.
Yeah. I got total Night Flyer vibes from the very beginning, man. The guy smoking the cig, dude, I want his shot glass, by the way. That thing was fucking
I love that shot glass.
By the way, when he's sitting there in his little corner taking shots, right? He got, was that Photoshop, JR? Was that
Photoshop? He was doing Photoshop.
I was like, yo, that's us. That's me. That's me. I mean, over editing, taking shots, editing at late night. That's me. Like, oh, shit, I can relate to that. That's fucking cool as hell. But yeah, man. The way, I mean, the scene with Zombie, from the very moment I saw that he had a dog, I'm like, oh god, what the fuck, man? Why can't I can't take it no more, man. Every movie now has to introduce these animals as
literally
all the time.
It's like, as I'm watching it, and you fast forward it, but I was sitting there going, this is a really bad week for Rick and I.
Why not just give this guy a best friend as a sleazeball? I'll sacrifice this motherfucker. Why gotta be a fucking dog? Come on, man. Jesus Christ.
Rick and I had to deal with animals, necromantic, the seal, fucking frogs have been around. And then we get this, and I'm like sitting there going, and I'm like,
spiders before that too.
JR, man. Like, I'm
good, but
let me tell you, before I put the movie on, there's a big disclaimer: animal harm. Like,
I know you said that,
no.
and then you know how I knew who it was gonna be.
Yeah, once I saw he had a dog.
Zombie, yeah.
Once I saw he had a dog,
And
oh god,
I had
lame.
Daisy.
That's lame.
I had Daisy next to me as the scene is playing out, and I would understand, because I looked at my Daisy and I'm like, God, I can't imagine doing this to my, no. I'm gonna have to kill Adam.
I'll kill myself over my fucking.
No, I'm not gonna do it.
Well, I don't mean suicide. I mean, if I'm already dying like that, all right, fuck it. It's my fault. I'm an asshole. I'm not gonna drag other people into this.
JR, when she knew it didn't work, she should have gone, here's your $100,000. Go spend, give it to Maris. That's what I said. That's what I said, where I found it that it was a bit of a scam.
I thought that too, because when she was like, go home, it's over, and then all of a sudden, you know what? I know somebody.
We did it, and if it didn't work, for me, if she would have handed him back the money, that would have let you know it did not work.
See, I thought scam too.
It did work.
Yeah, because when the guy died, right? Then she realized, oh shit, this is real. Because she probably was skeptical.
Thank you.
And then you know
the
what?
other part that I picked up on is that they realized you fuck up and find out.
All right, closing thoughts, horror fiends. JR, I'm gonna start with you. So Any final thoughts you got on this film? Anything else you want to bring up that we may have missed? Anything important? Joe, think about something as well. But JR, I will start with you since you were the one that brought this film to our attention. So give us your final thoughts, rate it, and like I said, anything else you want to add to this one?
Well, before I give you my rating, my final thoughts, you had mentioned earlier about the ending of the film. So let's talk about that. How the film ended. I mean, what did you guys think of how this film ended?
Loved it. Loved the
Let
ending.
me answer. You
Anyway,
already
Okay.
you already knew it was coming because in one of his dreams that he had while he was laying there and he's going Maris and he's getting zipped up. After he knocks off the cup, he loses all his senses and he actually got a foresight. One of his nightmares that he had was him talking to her, saying what's going on. So at that point, he was gone. He wasn't feeling anything. He was, I guess, immobile because the senator became immobile himself and being put in a body bag. So when he knocked the glass out of her, you knew what was going to happen next is the fact that eventually he's going to lose his senses. She's not going to know what's going on. And you're going to get that scene that they showed you with him being put in the body bag, taken to the fucking morgue because the doctors are then like, there's like 3 or 4 doctors. And he's like, that was,
What were the doctors doing? Do you remember?
weren't they cutting into him?
No. He had stitches in his mouth, and stitches over his eyes, and stitches on his
Oh.
nose. So they were even showing how he was basically losing those senses.
So see, it was like you knew what was going to happen. So like I knew that he wasn't not gonna basically give her up. And so yeah, no, JR, I picked up on that. Like literally it showed you what his final fate was gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think this movie did something interesting in it. Like we said before, it took you the loss of 5 senses, and it did it in a brilliant way on one day to the next. But where I think it did it so much better is it didn't immediately happen. It was a slow process each time, and they showed the slow process, the reaction. I mean, to actually show somebody how they did lose their sense of smell or their taste, and the way they showed it in this film, I like that a lot. And like you, these, yeah, right from the beginning, you get that feeling. Even when he's at the crime scene and he tells the guy, "Hey, why don't you put the tarp over her just so he could get that shot of the." I mean, this you wanted to hate this character, but what good writing does, it takes a flawed character and makes you go on a roller coaster ride with the character. And this is what this movie did. Now, then you bring in the wife. Now, the way he talked to her at times, this is, I wanted to punch him in his face
Well, they
because here
weren't
you have
married though. They weren't
no, but
married.
together 14
14
years.
years. I mean, it's common
I mean,
law, I guess, at that
yeah,
point.
that's common law. That's like a whole new level because common law, I think, is after 5.
oh, bro,
But
I'm about to be past 5. Don't scare me, bro.
but it's this movie was character driven at first, and then once everything started happening, you were along for the ride. I mean, not once did I lose attention to this film. And the funny thing is, I'm watching this with Priscilla, my wife, and at one point in the film, she was like, "I think the wife's the one that did the curse, so he could quit his job." So she went a whole different direction with it. I'm like, "Oh, that's an interesting point." I was
Yes.
like, "Holy crap!" But the fact that every time this movie took a twist, you were wondering where it was going to go, and it took its time to develop the twist. It was no rushing process, and like you guys even said, when we questioned whether the curse actually, they broke the curse or not, and then to see him suffering with the hearing and knowing, oh crap, it didn't work. I mean, for me, this is a tough movie to rate because it falls into that spot where you wanted more, but you're satisfied with what they gave you. And the way they ended the movie was perfect because you already saw what the senator went to, so you already knew what was the end game of it. But to end it like that with the heartbreak that the last thing he sees is his wife crying. For me, that was. I'm gonna give this one. What? You know what? I'm gonna give it a 5 because I think this one was just it was different. It was original. We haven't seen like anything like this. And I don't know if you guys have noticed. There are a lot of films this year in horror that are flying under the radar because they're different. And I like that. All the horror films that we were looking forward to so far have not lived up to expectations. But this year's been a lot of horror movies that are going under the radar that people are starting to pinpoint. This is for me, this is one of them. I like international horror, but yeah, I don't find too much to nitpick on this one, and just the fact that it's original.
I was just
Give it a
gonna
5.
say that it's an original concept.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's familiar territory, but spun in an original idea, or
yes.
at least something that isn't beating like a dead horse over and over and over again. I dug that. Joe the psychologist, you got a lot to say, bro. Let's go, bro.
I'm trying to remember all my thoughts too, because I'm like trying to interrupt everybody. So yeah, so to hold. Sorry, I'm gonna go be.
Hold on, before
what do you-
before Joe goes long.
I'm not gonna be long. I'm just gonna say frenetic. I'll do my shot though. So just because I was trying to hold on to all my thoughts. So I love the nightmare sequences in the movie. I'm actually surprised, JR, when he mentioned them going through the bayou or what you want to call it. This movie was beautifully shot. A lot of the scenes were just like you were engrossed in the scene, like you felt like you were there. The cinematography was fucking top notch on this. So fucking props to Luis Javier. I mean, it was just it felt surreal. It felt like you were actually experiencing what Santiago was experiencing through this movie. And that's when I figured out that the nightmares, because again, he would lay down and he got what like the first nightmare that he had, which was the rats eating his legs. You knew the nightmares were a foreshadow of what is to come. And when you saw him being put inside the bag, you knew that he was going to die and that it was going to be at the point where he loses his senses. And as JR said, the way it ended is, because he put the elixir in the tea. And that's another thing. He came out of this spell and still didn't have like great functions. Like he pouring the tea, he's like spilling water. All I'm thinking is I would have been so mad at you. You spilled water everywhere. What's wrong? But it was
real quick. You mentioned elixir. What I thought what kind of wasn't it like a sedative or because he
whatever the
it's to force the abortion.
Yeah, it was basically so whatever because that's another part. They didn't show a good shot of what this brujo looked like, but it didn't look human, right? It actually looked like Lamb. And if you've not seen the movie Lamb, when they were showing all the sheep and everything, in there is this.
Oh, I thought it was a mask. That's what I saw.
No, I think that's what it looked like.
So wait, hold on. The villains are
I
actual
thought
lamb
Black
monsters?
Phillip, man. I thought Black Phillip for some reason.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, but if you, I know I asked you.
Hold on,
guys.
I'm gonna
You
change
guys
my score then. Hold on, it's a real lamb guy. I don't. What the fuck?
You guys have not seen the movie Lamb. It's kind of classified horror. It's a like JR.
I heard he's watching Paint Dry, so I
JR loves the slow burn. This is so slow.
Yeah, that's why I didn't see it.
And the reveal at the end, you're like, what the fuck?
Well, speaking of A24, when he met that character and he paralyzed him, I thought of Midsommar when he.
Oh my god, dude! Thank you, because when all that was going on, I literally thought of Midsommar myself. I sit there like, just a lot of great elements in this movie. It's a 4.5 for me.
I like how the film deliberately like put Santiago in these positions of a lot of foreshadowing and a lot of moments. Like for example, when he found that one victim that was a young woman who was dead for a long time because she smelled like shit apparently, but he couldn't smell her. But the fact that she was pregnant and she was stabbed in her belly multiple times, that's how she died. Because when he lifted up her shirt, obviously she had a big belly, so she was pregnant. Yep. Kind of foreshadowed, yes, what's him and his situation with his girlfriend. And I did like the fact that they made it like a little bit of drama involved with him and his girlfriend, but she was pregnant, but he didn't want a kid. because of, he gave his reasons, but then she gave her reasons, and they both put up a compelling argument. But at the end of the day, if somebody's pregnant, in my opinion, that trumps everything. You don't just have an abortion because no, I want to continue my career as a photographer. You know what I'm saying? That's a really selfish reason to do something like that.
It is though, but it showed that he was a flawed individual.
He was,
and she was his moral compass. That's where the whole thing was. For his moral compass had been off. So all the way through the movie, it kept going back to the one individual who had been there for him, telling him, stop. She literally said, stop doing this. And this is what happened.
And I like how it all started when he pretty much broke plans with his girlfriend once. Not just that, though, but after he found out she was pregnant. Which, if you find that out, no, hold on. This is more important than, no. We're going to talk about this. But no, he didn't. But I like how it ended where he was about to sacrifice his unborn child, his spawn. But then at the last minute, he thought better of it, said, no, I'm going to be the man. I'm going to take my L. And that's exactly what he did. So, yeah, like JR said, character development, full circle. Now, we compared him to like Peter Parker joking around, or Richard Dees from Night Flyer. He's not a scumbag like Richard Dees. He did this despicable shit because he was trying to make his career, make money. Richard Dees was just a complete asshole. Let's be real.
He was different countries and different money prospects.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't see Santiago as like this despicable asshole.
No.
He was just an opportunist, right? He was insensitive, yes, but he wasn't like this despicable person. He had feelings, like I'm assuming he did not want to do what he did to Zombie, but when you're fucking dying, essentially, you're gonna do what you gotta do.
I can't do that to Daisy. I just could not. I'm just gonna die.
Oh yeah, that's what I said.
I will die holding on to Daisy and Adam. Sorry, Adam.
If they tell me to sacrifice my Rosita, my turtle's gonna live. I'm gone. That's my fault. I'm the one being nosy, taking pictures of some fucking old motherfucker. But yeah, this movie's a 4 for me. I could appreciate it. I love how it's different. There's no real major flaws with it. I could see if you're expecting like something like gory or more violent or even scary, because this movie, it wasn't really scary.
It had good jump shots though.
Yeah, the fear in this movie came from your journey of Santiago and seeing how he was degrading, and perfect choice with the filmmaking, whether it was the smelling, right, when he's around the dead corpses, for example, but when he started losing his hearing, and we felt it because from the moment he lost his hearing, whenever he's on screen, the entire movie is diluting in sound. Yep. It's muting itself, and you guys pointed out the ratio of the screen, how it just kept shrinking upon the last day when he started losing his vision. I gotta go back and watch that. I'll be honest, man. I missed it. I missed it. I'll be honest. But
I kid you not.
It gives me a reason to go back and watch it. So
it does make you wonder: did you have to change some setting on your TV, and you didn't realize that the director was actually purposely doing that to you? And yeah, it was awesome.
And I like how people think like if you're deaf, you just don't hear anything. That's not the case. You're gonna, the way how everything was muffled. Most people who are deaf, that's what it sounds like. It's not a complete silence. It's this weird, like, if you were to completely like shut your ears, or if you're underwater, or if you got a lot of water in your ears, you get that weird. That's what it's like, a constant muffled sound, this distortion in your head. Brilliant. I've never seen a movie do that before. I like those little subtleties, bro. That's gonna be it from me. Ricky Grimes, JR, Joe the psychologist. Joe, tell us what we got cooking next week, my brother.
I think another JR pick. What is it? Low Lives?
Low Lives. A Tubi original.
Tubi. We're going back to
Tubi original. Tubi. Oh no, it's Tubi. Me and Rick love Tubi.
Yeah, I love
Ricky
Tubi.
Grimes and Tubi go hand in hand.
Hey man,
that's what might change Rick's perspective.
All right.
It's not because of the films. I just don't like commercials. I hate ads. It breaks. Because you know, when I watch a movie, I'm fucking high as hell, bro. When you watch
Oh,
some
it,
ads,
takes, it takes you out of the moment.
takes you out,
And
it
always-
takes you out, it
it's
takes you out.
right at the good moment too.
yeah, I hate. At least they give you a warning.
That is that.
So, all right, let me. All right, well, I gotta put something on my phone. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Disappeared completely. It's on Netflix. They've been bouncing movies off here left and right lately, so definitely check it out before they remove it. And if you watch it, definitely give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It'll help Netflix or any streaming platform. Do it for any movie you
And
watch.
the cinematographer, director, everybody involved with the movie.
Yes, because that's how we get more movies like this on these platforms. Because if it wasn't for that, I would have never have discovered this. And Joe, thank you. It is 2022, but yeah, it was released in
24.
2024. So yeah, Harbor Fiends, we all cheer for big bottles of beer. Stay good, stay healthy, stay sane. Most of all, don't disappear and stay scared.